There's been plenty of Chinese nationals coming across the open border. I think some of them are probably trying to escape Xi Jinping, but some of them may be working for Xi Jinping. Then you got the terror cells of terrorists. We've seen hundreds literally that have been captured. I worry about the ones that haven't been captured from these special interest states. They call them special interest aliens that could be building terror cells here. I'm in firm belief that there are already terror cells here. Now, Xi Jinping, I believe he looks at these terror cells in the United States as in his best interest, because anything that would create more chaos, anything that would create more weakness in the United States, that a massive terror attack would upend our economy, Xi Jinping's going to be all for it. He may not be on a holy war against America, but he's certainly on a war against America.
No doubt about it. And this is the reason why that in TikTok, which claims more than 100 million US users, we have seen a heavy influence from the CCP-controlled device to promote anti-Semitism and pro-Hamas rhetorics. I mean, that's again Xi Jinping, because we're not facing just the military confrontation, but also a war of words, a war of ideas, and a war of influence. And we're losing this battle right here on the soil of the United States of America.
I'm literally exposing the misinformation, and TikTok community violated me for this very thing.
I think that you should wear it as a badge of honor, because the CCP definitely don't like people like you and the content you are spreading, because they want to promote the hate against Israel, against America. Tragically, US continues to allow more than 100 million American people to be exposed to such a harmful device. And in the K-Street, they're a powerful lobbying firm working on behalf of the TikTok to remain in the United States of America. In our current Taiwan Relation Act, U.S. is going to provide Taiwan with self-defense support. But that doesn't mean that the U.S. will send troops and men and women in uniform to fight in that island. U.S. has always been providing arms sale and military support for Taiwan. Biden actually, a month ago in a 60-minute interview, he actually said that if CCP takes over Taiwan, American troops will come to Taiwan to help Taiwan to defend, which is a very interesting departure from America's long-standing ambiguity policy toward Taiwan. So I think that Taiwan is capable of defending against the CCP's aggression if they are provided with ample military support. I think that in the Middle East, you and I, we talk about the CCP's infiltration and increasing their political and military presence in the Middle East through the Belt and Road Initiative, and they're taking America's ally away to the CCP side. Also, that happens in Europe and Central and Latin America. I mean, last week we heard the congressman from Florida expressing concerns about the 17 illegal Chinese nationals posing as a tourist, taking photos of our military installations in key cargo. I think that Xi Jinping has a global ambition, and for decades, they have been planning their spy operatives and surveillance system around the world.
Do you think that China wants World War III? I think Xi Jinping is too smart to try to get himself into World War III. I think what he wants to do is bully everyone into just rolling over for him.
I think Xi Jinping's ultimate goal is to replace America as the dominant power in the entire world. That's why they use the term New World Order. They create the Global South and the BRICS system. And their goal is to destroy the world order that was established by the US after World War II. And so if they don't have to start a war to achieve this goal, that's perfect. But I think that they're prepared for a military confrontation if it needs to do.
I think you could make an argument that our Navy is more powerful than China's Navy, but we see ammunition being depleted. Israel's asking for more ammunition from the United States. We know Ukraine has been taking ammunition from us. Who do you think is stronger?
Well, we already know that the CCP has more naval ships than the United States of America. They have more capability to produce more ships. And also, according to the latest Pentagon report, the CCP is speeding up the production of the nuclear warheads. Right now, they're at at 500, which is far less than the United States, but they're going to increase by 1,000 by 2030. I think the most troubling side is that we are buying the drones produced by the CCP. And that's why last week, Chairman Mike Gallagher of the CCP committee in the House of Representatives, they passed an act to stop America from purchasing drones produced by the CCP, because that means that we are sending sensitive US data back to Beijing.
When you look at what's happening with Israel, Hamas, and Palestine, I just saw some Chinese official, I don't know, it was in Chinese, but they are voicing very strong support for a state solution with Palestine having its own state, becoming its own recognized country. Has this been longstanding in China?
Absolutely. In fact, in the Baidu, which is the CCP-controlled largest search engine system, if you Google the map in Middle East, you will not find Israel on that map. So in CCP's digital map, people are not going to find Israel, but they see Palestine. So that's the CCP's position. It's just like in CCP's map, they include Taiwan as part of the territory controlled by the CCP. And then they force American airliners to change Taiwan's status from a country or independent nation to a province or city belonging to China. And so far, we haven't heard any condemnation from the CCP government about Hamas. Instead, they've been calling ceasefire. They've been calling one nation or two nation state solution to that conflict, but they didn't want to admit it's Hamas who launched the attack first, taking the storm, that whole Israel by surprise. So they failed to recognize who's the real aggressor, who's the real victim.
This is not just moving a couple of ships around Taiwan. It looks like amounts to a fleet or more of ships. What's happening here?
The CCP has moved 43 military aircraft and 9 ships to the Taiwan Strait within 24-hour period. And this happened after the White House confirmed Biden is going to meet with Xi Jinping in less than 2 weeks in San Francisco at the sidelines of the APEC meeting, because the CCP has been stepping up the military confrontation and causing many harassment campaigns in the Taiwan Strait and also in the South China Sea, because the CCP had a collision with a Philippine fishing vessel in the controversial area. So they are acting very aggressively.
What do you think ultimately is going to happen if we could get into the mind of Xi Jinping? Is this the pre-phases of an actual invasion? I've always said, and maybe I'm wrong, I always was under the impression that Taiwan would ultimately fall without a shot being fired, the threat of the CCP, and Taiwan would roll over. But this makes it sure look like an invasion is imminent unless Xi Jinping is posturing to squeeze the arm of Taiwan to say, hey, we're coming.
There's no doubt about it that Xi Jinping wants to take over Taiwan by force. It's just a matter of when and how soon. And I think that the CCP has been showing a force to the United States when the US is preoccupied with the military conflict in Middle East. Again, it's a proxy war sponsored and funded by the CCP from behind the scene. Iran and Hamas and the Houthi, have all been supplied by the CCP in terms of the weapon and defense system. So I think the CCP is trying to show to America that, we are in control and we want to start a World War III.